Sometimes students have more ideas in their head than there is time in a day. Sometimes students struggle to make their ideas come to life, translating what's inside their head into the real world. So, how can Twice Exceptional students build some of those follow through skills that help them get better at manifesting their ideas into realities? Here's Laurel Griffiths, the Director of Family Services, to share her perspective and tips. Stay tuned after the video for more information on the benefits of the Young Scholars Program and how you can directly access features like these virtual events.
Do you have any suggestions for helping young 2E kids complete projects that they start? My son's 7, 2E, ADHD, inattentive, and he's constantly starting huge projects, but not finishing them. They take longer than a day. There are so many things that interest him, and his brain is busy. But multi-day projects are difficult for him to sustain. I'd love to help him build the muscle of completing his projects. We have the same issue. Okay. So some things that might be coming into play here. I'm sure, as you have thought, the ADHD. But one of the things with this particular age is that the brain, I will preface this with a disclaimer. We have limited neuroscience research on gifted children. The research that we do have suggests that many kids go through a second sponge phase around age 7. And when you're going through a sponge phase, when your brain is going through a sponge phase, there is so much going on in your brain. So like the brain is so busy, this is like a peak time for busy brain. So many connections happening, so many neural pathways being built, like tons and tons of matter being built up in this brain. And it appears from our limited research, the length of this second sponge phase that they're going through around age 7, the higher on the IQ or gifted range, the longer the sponge phase is. This makes sense, right? We see like lots and lots of neural pathways being built over an extended period of time for gifted brains. More neurotypical students in this phase around age 9. And what happens then is the brain goes through a huge pruning and organization moment, and the prefrontal cortex starts getting developed. And the prefrontal cortex is where many of our advanced executive functioning skills live. So that persistence, that ability to like plan and follow through, all executive functioning skills. So those skills start developing in most neurotypical brains around age 9. Profoundly gifted children, and this hooks up anecdotally with what we've seen as family services, are delayed on that by like 3 or 4 years, meaning that those types of executive functioning skills in PG kids don't tend to go through their big developmental shift until ages 12 or 13. And they do catch up to their neurotypical peers in developing these skills, but that happens in their late teens or their 20s. And then, as I know you said, you have additional exceptionalities on top of this, which also kind of play a role in that persistence, that executive functioning around projects. This doesn't mean that all is lost and we can never build up anything. But it does mean that there are perhaps some brain-based things going on that are impeding this progress. So, suggestions on getting them to complete projects that they start. I don't know exactly what types of projects you're talking about, but one of the things that we do know is kind of like out of sight, out of mind, right? So is there a place to kind of display or put up or keep in view all of, like, maybe not all, but several of the projects that are happening, and get that visual reminder, even if it's not the exact next day, but maybe a few days down the line, or a week down the line, or a month down the line, of what they have worked on. You said all types. He's busy. Free building, writing a book. That's a diary of people on the Titanic, building a microscope. I love it. Okay. So can we keep these all kind of more in view, right? With writing a book, can, like, there be right near the desk, one of those acrylic clear book holders or file folders where you can keep whatever journal he's working in, or something like that. Keep it visual, that like, here's a reminder right here, open to the page that you stopped on. Here is your project. If like the free building, like a workshop sort of shelf with like the projects in process, and including the microscope on that. And also being aware of what the goals are with these projects. So a lot of PG kids go through interests and projects pretty rapidly because they finish it basically in their mind. Like as they're going along and doing the thing, they're like learning things and developing skills and developing a knowledge base. And then they get to a certain point and they're like, oh, okay, I get how this all works and how this all comes together. All right, I've learned what I want to learn, move on. It is really hard to get the PG brain engaged, especially a little PG brain, engaged in completing something when they already feel like they completed it. So what are the goals that your young scholar has? And are they actually meeting those goals, even if it doesn't look like it on the outside? Because there is a value in persisting with something and a value in stopping when you have reached your goal with it, even if it's not fully completed. So we see that quite a lot in PG kids, of like they're really intensely interested in something, then they get what they wanted out of that and they move on. So also looking at goals, and if the goal for you is kind of that building that persistence, maybe looking at some other avenues for building that kind of grit through things like something that requires practice and patience. For some young scholars, that's music and learning an instrument. For some young scholars, that's athletics and learning a sport or some sort of lifelong activity. For some students, that's reading, right? Getting to the end of the book. That's a big project. Some of it, right, is like the day-to-day things and things around the house. I mean, like the laundry's never ending. Learning to persist with laundry is important. So thinking about building those in other areas as well.
Thank you for watching. Check out the cultivated resources we have on our Davidson Gifted blog linked below. The Davidson Young Scholars Program provides our members with opportunities to connect, engage, and access a range of family services to support them on their profoundly gifted or twice exceptional path. Want to learn more? We host application Q&As for families to learn more about our program, testing requirements, and even our application. Visit our website, davidsongifted.org, and find the next available Q&A on the upcoming events tab. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.